tactic.
The Mary Sue comment has its points. I can see it,
Mm-hmm.
right? I didn't see it. I didn't see it as being intentional. I saw it as it was just something that they chose to do, not intentionally, but lazily.
Well, yeah,
You see
because
what I'm
they were just
saying?
trying to get the project out. It
Yeah,
felt,
because
yeah.
to say that she's a Mary Sue because she's all powerful, they didn't even go into, okay, well, why does she have all this power? The assumption that is left on the fans to make is, well, naturally she's all powerful and knows all these things because she's a Palpatine. But they didn't know she was going to be a Palpatine when they wrote Episode
Oh,
7.
absolutely not.
So
Hot potato.
for me at least, you can disagree, but I don't think they wrote Rey in Episode 7 to be a Mary Sue intentionally.
No,
I think that came off because she was written lazily.
without depth.
You don't say the same thing. You don't call, and here's the difference. You don't call Princess Leia a boss lady out of episode 4. You
Mm.
don't call Leia when she's telling Vader to his face, "You can kiss my ass. I'm not going to give you the plans. I'm not going to tell you what I've been up to," and
Yeah.
just lying to him straight off. Nobody called her. What were the terms? The feminist, the boss lady, the woman in charge.
Mm.
Nobody said that. In fact, she's so well written that when she gets rescued and she's blasting her way out of that prison cell, what does she tell Luke and Han? Somebody has to save our skins. And she jumps the hell out on her own. Nobody called her anything for that.
No.
But why do they call Rey a Mary Sue? Again, it's not that point has its that criticism has its points, but the
Mm.
thing that the fans are missing is that it wasn't done on purpose. It was done. They were lazy.
Yeah.
They were more focused on getting a Star Wars project out to be consumed and recoup some billions than they were about writing the damn story. Let's say they put in 3 years
Mm.
of time to write this script. I'm sorry, my friend. You're not starting from a point of 10 years ago with the prequel trilogy. You're starting from 1983 on.
Yeah.
You should have taken another 3 years
Yes.
to do episode
Yeah.
7. And in those 3 years, do your spin offs so you can see where is my audience.
I think an
And
example.
build up the rage for a Star Wars film
Right.
that would go off of Return of the Jedi.
Yeah. So a few things. What you said about Leia is true. No one called her, but there was a natural.
If anybody ever
There was
calls Leia anything, I'll beat the hell out of them.
Okay,
That was
you're not
that was my mom. You can cut that if you like. Uh, Leia was like my mom and my grandmother combined. Leia was
And your
Leia
girlfriend, too?
was, No,
There's some weird stuff going on there.
No. I'm saying someone to look up to.
Uh huh.
Leia was the person to look up to. I was 4. You know what I mean? Leia was the one to look up to. Lucas said it himself. Who do you think started the whole thing? You need to be able to write an, an effective character. And how he did so well in writing Leia's story, it's so telling because now if you listen to Hollywood, what do they tell you? You need someone of the exact same identity to write for these characters. Well, then that's not the problem of the studio. That's a failure on the writer. Because if you have to go to the identity of someone to be a one-to-one match, you're not a writer. You need to go back. You need
Right.
to start over.
So I agree because there was a natural way of showcasing. To go back to Leia, there was a natural way of showcasing Leia being the quote unquote girl boss or leader. It was with her conflict with Han.
Yeah.
Because Han is also an arrogant person,
Yeah.
and he's naturally
modern
someone that
man.
likes being in control. The modern man. Yeah,
This is a modern man.
He was the conflict between Leia and him were just so natural because they both want to be in charge. She's naturally a princess. She's a leader of this. Han is naturally someone in control of his own life. He doesn't like being told what to do. He's always on the run. He's like, no, no, what's best for my survival? And so there was this natural conflict that just works for both characters. In Han being the scoundrel or whatever, but also with especially Leia earning her flowers, earning her spot as being someone of a force, someone of a
earns her
leader.
stripes.
She earns her stripes of being an in-depth character, something we do not see with Rey.
I don't know who you are or where you came from. But from now on, you do as I tell you, okay?
Look, your worshipfulness, let's get one thing straight. I take orders from just one person, me.
So one day you're still alive.
Rey's kind of in it for herself. She
I mean,
wants
she's
to
a
earn, she wants
survivalist
to
too.
learn her own life story. I want to save the resistance because it's the right thing to do. Okay, cool. How did this affect you? Oh, my parents. Well, you don't know who your parents are. So how does this affect you? What's the point? I'm a Jedi. That's great. How does
How?
this affect you?
What's the point? Like who?
Why are you here?
Yeah. No, I agree. Again, I can't emphasize this
They
enough.
missed on Rey. They missed on
They
Rey.
missed
And
on
did,
every
and they
character.
did Daisy Ridley wrong in that. And in the process, they caught John Boyega as collateral damage. I think the only person whose career has flourished, thankfully, is Oscar Isaac.
Oscar Isaac was
Thankfully.
already a fantastic actor,
Thankfully,
and he
yeah.
was brought in because of all these indie projects that he was
Oh,
in.
and Adam Driver, too.
Adam Driver as well. Adam
Thankfully.
Driver was successful on the show Girls. He was successful on a couple of movies before Star Wars as well. And you know, bringing in both Oscar Isaac and him, Adam Driver, onto the show added some star power to the newer side of the cast, that they were the newer characters. But again, the lack of depth on these characters, it was not intentional. I think JJ had, you know, a nice, even if you thought it was a regurgitation of the old
Yeah.
of
The
the
intent
originals,
was there at least.
there was an intent of him trying to like, hey, let's try and build up these characters. There is something there with Finn leaving the order. There is something there of a stormtrooper, you know, not wanting to kill. He doesn't like that he has to kill regular, and there's a conflict within him. There is a conflict within Rey and who she is, and just wanting to get off that planet and going out and seeing the stars, and just trying to find a life for herself that is not scrapping. There is something to Poe in the beginning as well too, where he is, you know, arrogant. He is someone that wants to fight. There's a potential for him to rise up and become a leader too. It really flatlines when you do not have a treatment for an overarching story and you play a game of hot potato. And we saw this with Rian Johnson's The Last Jedi. The Last Jedi is the
Rian
most.
Johnson just wanted to make a name for himself with that Star Wars movie. I'm sorry. There's no connective tissue.
No.
There's no connective tissue.
No.
I know.
There's
you
an
were
arrogance,
gonna
too.
Make that point. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Great. I liked your Knives Out films. Star Wars is not Knives Out. Why you thought you would inject your own worldview cynicism into what is an overall story of hope? I think that's the first time. I actually felt a crippling depression. When you think about it, because that is the death of a hero, and that's something that modern Hollywood has been very keen on doing. They've been keen on character assassination and eliminating our heroes, male or female. I would hope if they were to, let's say, bring back a Ripley from Alien, I hope they wouldn't do the same. I would assume they wouldn't because she's a female character. But if they were to do that to Ripley, I would hate them for it. Or Sarah Connor, right? And these are characters that we always bring up because
They're
they
iconic.
they're iconic and they're women. But you know, leave it to modern Hollywood to say, well, those are the only ones you can draw from. That doesn't mean that you're equal when it comes to who you'd like to see. You're still biased because of your gender. No, you can leave all that garbage out. We identify We identify with Sarah Connor when we want to protect our children from a doomscape future. We identify with Ripley when we want to survive, right?
Right.
Especially in an environment like Alien, right? The same is true for Luke. I said a little earlier, Princess Leia, Princess Leia is the perfect woman. Not because she is perfect and not because she is a woman. She is perfect in that she is facing the challenges as gracefully as possible, right? Not to say that all women are graceful, but she also has her flaws that every human being would, right? Men can identify themselves in Princess Leia,
Yes.
right? She handles them as gracefully as she can up until a certain point. And at that point, she will shoot you in the forehead with the blaster, right? The same is true for Han. Han is arrogant. Han is out for himself. But at the end of the day, as smooth talking as he can be, he tries to get out of anything. He can rely on his relationships, his friendships, and he will return to the goodness in his core to do the right thing. Luke, on the other hand, Luke is what men and women should aspire to. It's goodness, it's
Yeah.
hope, it's sacrifice, but it's also not giving up.
Yes.
That's why Luke, being the farm boy, out in the middle of nowhere, that opening shot with or that closing
Where he's
shot
looking
with
off into the
Tatooine,
horizon.
when he's looking off into the horizon,
Yeah.
that embodies all of us. That's not just men and women. I'm very specific with my words, because we've entered a world, whether we like it or not, that we always reference gender identity. You can have that, but you have to be crafty in how you tell that story, because it is a human story.
Yeah.
It's not a story of the identity. It's the story of the heart,
Yes.
right? Luke is that heart. Han and Leia are the perfect representations of who we are. Luke is who we could be. Now, to Ryan Johnson,
Right.
he killed it. He killed it.
Yeah.
So
How did he kill it? Like, what was his?
his whole point is, even Luke is corruptible. I'm sorry. You can't do that to the one character that already demonstrated he's not corruptible. That was the whole point of the ending of Return of the Jedi, down to the white flap on his black tunic, to
Right.
show that there was always goodness in him, that he was not going to be taken over by the dark side. He took that beating from the Emperor. He kept it. He threw the lightsaber away, to then go around. The story takes place 25 years after. To then go around and say that these nightmares of my nephew committing mass murder of my students, these nightmares for Luke would not have phased him this way. There is no amount of backstory.
I mean,
that
there
you
could
can
be.
give.
You would just have, like, again, you would have to bring in the depth. You would have to show Kylo.
Sure.
Like, you know what they say about psychopaths or
Yeah,
sociopaths
sure.
when they like attack animals, or I'm not saying obviously this is a Disney
Yeah.
and in a family movie, you're not going to show Kylo like attacking animals, but you got to show some type of acts, events in his life. Again, flashbacks maybe, where there is the conflict, where there is Luke looking at Kylo like, dude, this kid is kind of off the rails a little bit. I need to try and bring him back. And then as he's trying to, like, hey, I'm trying to correct you here. You got to show this.
You're mentioning it. You are talking about it. You are saying there has to be a build-up.
There has to be a buildup of a story.
But
Yes.
the action is done. That's the thing. It is Luke. Luke is making the effort. Luke is saying, "Hey, man, I know you've not been sleeping. I've been trying to watch out for you. Why don't we talk about this?" Luke would have gone 1,000 extra steps, 1,000 extra miles, to make sure that Ben does not succumb to his own nightmares.
Right.
and so that at least the audience can say, this is what it looks like for someone who's so hopeful, who is so morally upright, right?
Right.
To sacrifice his time, his energy, his mind towards someone who's clearly losing it. And that can be a story on mental health that is not talked about.
Yeah.
That it tends to get overlooked when it comes to men also. Let's be fair.
But you're
right?
getting in there. You're
But
getting into
you're getting
some
into
serious
the tones,
topic,
the themes again that Lucas would
yes.
bring up. So continue.
No,
Sorry,
no,
I cut you off.
No,
I'm
no, it's
sorry.
fine. I completely agree with what you're saying. Again, we have to see these things. We have to see these tones brought out, and it's something that could have been really well done. I know it's already done. It's already over. You know, there's not going to be changed. They're not going to redo it. But there is something
Keep it.
too.
Yeah.
In the first, Force Awakens, we do see that conflict with Kylo. Kylo is conflicted all the way up until the point where he kills his own father.
and then
There could have
drops
been
him.
flashbacks or something showing the side of Kylo's conflict as a kid with Luke. And then in Last Jedi, again, if they brought this together, showing the conflicts within Luke about Kylo. It's something that while he's teaching Rey, he's trying to overcome this turmoil of what was going on between the relationship between him and his nephew, and how he might be getting hope again, because he's seeing a new student that is giving him that life again, of the love of life, the love of the Force, the love of something in Rey. There's something in Rey that maybe gives him hope again. If you're going to go down this route that Luke has no more hope. He's done with the Jedi. The Jedi are over. The Force is done to him. He's done with the Force. He doesn't want anything to do with it. Then it's just a better, in my opinion, a better story. If you're going to make him that way, you got to give him that resurgency of hope again.